What's up, guys? Let's talk about one of the main factors that is keeping you from being able to maintain consistent, healthy habits. Specifically, why are you still out of shape and why are you still struggling with yo-yo dieting and gaining and losing the same 20 to 50 pounds? All right. So there's a lot of stuff out there. Okay, there's a lot of strategies and tactics and tips and things like that, and we could go through each and every one of those. Like, what's an optimal dietary breakdown for trying to make sure that I'm not losing too much muscle as I burn fat? Okay, that's one route you could go down. You could also go down, what's the best type of foods, right, to get the most protein without getting too many carbs or too many fats and throwing things off kilter and going over my calories, right? We could go down that road. We could also go down the avenue of, what's the best type of workout for me to follow with a busy schedule? Okay, so we could go down all those tactics and strategies. And to be honest, there are lists and lists upon videos, articles, blog posts, things of that nature that could break down each and every one of those things. Some of it could give you some really good information. Most of it could give you some really poor information that's not informed with evidence from scientific studies and journals, but mostly through bro science and, hey, it worked for me, so it's going to work for you type of stuff. But that is that's a little bit more surface level when it comes to these patterns and these problems. So I've been doing this long enough, right, where I've been working with people who have really struggled with trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And upon doing all these years of experience and encounters with people from all kinds of walks of life, backgrounds, income levels, injury levels and backgrounds, family histories, et cetera, et cetera, I've noticed there's a common theme, right? There's a common theme, and having experienced it myself, I am fully in agreement with it, that we tend to overlook this main thing, right? So I hate getting into the topic of, this is the main thing that you need to do, or this is the main thing holding you back, because in reality, in all honesty, there's a lot of layers to it, right? And there's a lot of moving parts and pieces, and it's an interconnected weave of various tapestries, including behaviors, patterns, backgrounds, traumas, goals, genetics, et cetera, et cetera. But I will sum it up in a way that I can, as simply as I can, right? For the sake of it being something you can take in video or audio format, and hopefully start to recognize some of these things in yourself if they're there, and start to take action on it. Okay. So I will say it this way, in that we tend to take care of ourselves in the same manner that we view ourselves. All right. What does that mean? If we think more highly of ourselves, that we are more worthy of good things and are deserving of a fruitful and abundant life and positive things to come our way through our efforts that we put forth, then we tend to take care of ourselves in a better way, right? Like, we tend to make sure that we're prioritizing sleep and healthy relationships and managing stress well, exercising, eating well, and things like that, right? A lot of times when somebody's in a cycle of, I know what I need to do, I've done it before, I just can't seem to stay consistent with those habits, that's usually tied to a deeper issue with the self of, I view myself as not worthy or worthless, of being guilty or feeling shame, or just feeling overall negatively towards ourselves, right? So the relationship that we have with ourselves is a direct correlation with the habits and the disciplines that we put forth, right? So if we are very poorly disciplined, if we are not able to say no to cake and ice cream every day or pizza every day, and saying no at 1, 2, or 3 portions. Instead, we're going way over the limit with 4, 5, and 6 servings of things when we do finally eat. A lot of times it's a safe assumption that there is something going on with how we see ourselves. And until we really face that, right, until we recognize, okay, that's a problem I'm having, then we're not going to be able to correct it, right? How can you repair a broken fence that you don't know is broken because you won't look at it, right? You don't go in that part of the yard, so therefore you don't know. Yet you're wondering why all these critters are getting in your backyard, right? There's a breakdown somewhere. And until you get in there and investigate where the breakdown is, you can't stop it. You can't fix it. And a lot of times I will give this advice to clients when they reach out, is talking about, man, I just, I'm really in a rough spot right now. I'm having a hard time being consistent in my habits, and I'm just not doing as well as I was. There is always a direct connection to some sort of turmoil or turbulence that they're feeling within themselves and in their personal lives. All right. So if you are struggling a lot with your marriage, right, and the interaction's been a little bit rocky, and you guys are not really on the same page, more often than not, there's something going on within you, right? There's some sort of guilt or shame or some sort of secret that you're not wanting to be found out about, right? Like maybe you're not on top of your finances the way that you've made her think that you are, or maybe you're, struggling with something at work, or you guys insert whatever the issue could be that you might be facing right now, and that you're not willing to be fully forthcoming and open about it, and therefore you are spiraling. Now you're in self-destructive mode, and that's one example, right? Another example could be that maybe financially, like I said, we kind of dovetailed off of this this point that I made a second ago, but to pick up on that is that, hey, like things are really tight, right? Like the year didn't finish out as strongly as you needed it to. It's not starting off with a bang, and things are getting pulled pretty thin. And as a result, you find yourself pressing harder, right? You're trying to dig in deeper at work. What's that doing? That's putting more strain on your relationships at home. That's taking away from your attention that you pay to yourself and to nurturing your relationship with yourself and with God, and spending that time in silence and solitude to be able to listen, right? Instead of just doing, you're not spending that time to listen. And therefore you're in a negative cycle there. And so as a result of that, there's feelings of guilt, there's shame. There's I'm not worth doing positive things for myself because I'm struggling with so many of these other things, right? If I was a better person, I wouldn't be struggling with these things. That's not true. That just makes you normal. Okay. So getting into that negative cycle, that negative spin is where just bad decisions are bred, right? And for the sake of this video, for the sake of this episode, I want to talk about it as it pertains to our health and the way that we manage our dietary habits and our exercise routine, and being able to be consistent in both of those as they work together. And especially, trying to avoid that period of, all right, well, if one is slacking, then the other one needs to stay firm, and vice versa. So I don't want it. If it's me in that moment, I don't want to be just totally dropping the ball with what I'm eating and just going all out with whatever is in front of me and giving into whatever indulgence is there, because how can that also translate into other things in life? You know what I mean? So if I'm not able to stand strong there and be disciplined and show the willpower that it takes to maintain a consistent, healthy lifestyle, then, maybe I need my exercise to be there, right? And if the exercise isn't there, if I'm slacking off there, if I'm just not wanting to, or I'm prioritizing other things, making exercise less of a priority to me at the time, then I need to make sure that my dietary intake is on point. Why? Because it's okay to indulge from time to time, but when it becomes a consistency, right? So habits can be good, they can be bad, right? And too much of anything can be bad for us, right? Too much exercise, too much restriction when it comes to how we eat can be very counterproductive, right? It can be very disruptive to our hormones, our overall wellness, self-esteem, things of that nature, right? Like we can push too hard, right? We can create too much stress on the body. Likewise, we can do too much of being sedentary and eating whatever the hell we want, whenever we want to, and noticing the impact that that has also on the hormones and every other system in our body. So there's a balance that needs to be struck there, and trying to maintain some sort of sense of control over those things is what we struggle with a lot of. And when we are in that mode of being in a difficult place of being able to manage those kinds of things, it's important to really take a step back and go, what am I struggling with? Right? What am I battling? What sort of feelings about myself am I dealing with right now? Am I in a good place or a bad place? If I'm in a bad place, right, just meaning one that's not positive and uplifting and leading to eating well and exercising well on a regular basis, then what is it, right? What kind of, is it guilt? Is it shame? Is it anger? What am I wanting to hide from? Like what sort of things am I running away from? And then that's spilling over into the other areas of my life where I don't need it to, right? It's a tough position to be in. Absolutely. And I don't want to be somebody that lies to you and says I don't go through these things at any point in time, right? Even though I help guys with it, it doesn't mean I'm immune to it. But here's the difference between you and I, is that I recognize it faster, right? I can see it in real time, and I can either prevent it from starting, or as it starts, I can stop it quickly, right? And that's just because I'm in tune with myself. It's because I'm aware of, I'm out of my groove. I'm not feeling in my routine anymore. I'm finding myself wanting to get out of it, right? I'm having more cravings to eat whatever I want, as much as I want, whenever I want, or I'm just not wanting to take any time into the gym this week. Is that because my body needs the break? Or is it because I'm trying to run away from too many other things inside that don't feel good? And therefore I'm wanting to kind of wallow in self-pity and avoid, right? So those are the things that we need to be able to ask ourselves. So guys, if I can give you any advice, if you're in that season of, I know exactly what I need to do, I'm just struggling to do it, I can't seem to be consistent with it. And for me, and how I approach this with guys, is I talk about being consistent is at least 80% of the time we're doing these things, right? 20% of the time, let's have some grace. Let's have some margin for error, right? Because that's more sustainable than being 100% on all the time forever. That's not able to hold up, okay? But 80%, that's highly manageable, right? There's a lot of leeway there, but you're still trending in a positive direction, right? So being 80% consistent is still going to get you in significantly better shape and keep you there, right? Eating well for yourself and hitting your protein and staying within your calories based on your activity level, your body, your age, your gender, things like that, right? Being able to, height and weight as well, but being able to be 80% consistent with the exercise and the nutrition there, you're going to see good outcomes, right? You're going to avoid the unintended outcome that you don't want. And that's to be fat and unhappy, right? To be sick, to be in pain, and all those other things that happen from lack of movement, lack of proper nutrition, and how that affects your ability to focus at work, to show up and have the energy at home after you get done with a long day at work. If you're distracted by pain all the time because your body's not moving in ways that it needs to, or it's not strong in the ways that it needs to be, then you're going to be distracted by pain. And when you're distracted by pain, that's just as bad as being sleep deprived, right? Because when you're really tired and really sleepy, how's your filter, right? How's your fuse? Are they long or are they short? Is the filter on? Is it off? Right? So pain does the same thing. So these are all the compounding effects of ignoring what we need to do for ourselves. And I really firmly believe, guys, that it starts with how we feel about ourselves. And that's reflected in how we care for ourselves. And that includes diet, nutrition, self-care, prayer, spiritual life, all of those things. And then everything else is just kind of secondary, tertiary after that. Okay. I hope this makes sense, right? If it makes sense, I'd love for you to leave a comment below. You know, do the thumbs up thing. We're on YouTube, right? So leave a thumbs up, subscribe. If you want to hear more content like this, feel free. But guys, if I can give you any advice this week, right, with this particular video, this particular episode on the podcast, it's get real with yourself about, one, am I on track, right? Am I staying on track with what I need to be doing right now for my health, for my body, for my life? If the answer is no, one, figure out, is it because I don't have a track, I don't have a direction to follow? Or two, is that I know the direction, I know the plan, but I'm not able to stick with it? Then dig deeper, right? Step number three, dig deeper, figure out what sort of uncomfortable things am I feeling about myself that I'm trying to avoid? And what's it spilling out from and causing this bleeding effect into how I eat, how I sleep, how I work out or not? You know what I'm saying? So guys, that's going to be the most impactful thing that you can do, I think, if you're in that situation right now. If you're in that season of, I don't know what I need to do, but I mean, to get out of it, I know what I should be doing, but I don't know what I need to do to get out of this funk right now. I promise, if you start there, that you'll be way further along in 24 or 48 hours than had you not done it. Okay. Been doing this too long and been living it too long. I know exactly how it goes. And guys, when it goes on too long, then we start beating ourselves up even more, and we start feeling bad. We start feeling sorry for ourselves. We start feeling like, you know, hey, it's Tuesday. I'm already off track. I've already messed up. I've already gotten out of my groove that I'm supposed to be in. I'll wait till Monday rolls around. And you keep counting Mondays and marking them off your calendar, and you keep starting and stopping either Sunday night or Monday night, right? Each time you're looking forward to that next Monday to get really back in the groove, and you keep putting it off. And the issue is, it's not the right time to do it. It's not that you don't know what to do. It's not that you've got a million other excuses as to why you can't happen. It's because you're not wanting to be honest with yourself about the shit you need to deal with, right? Start there. And I guarantee that consistency with how you eat, the consistency with how you take care of your body, and then eventually how that outflows into your career, your family, everything else, your health especially, really takes care of itself from there. Because if you're not aware, if you're not self-aware, then you're totally unaware of everything. You're just oblivious, right? You're just drifting along. So guys, I hope that this has been helpful. Like I said, like the video, subscribe, comment down below if you find that this is also true for you. If you've been in this mode before, if you're currently in it now, love to hear from you guys. And then if you're listening to this in the podcast, guys, feel free to leave a review, share it with your friends, share it with other guys that you know. We'd love to help get the word out, and I appreciate all your support in the world. Check out the description below, and you can find out other ways to work with me. Like, you can take yourself through the 21-day Becoming a Better Man breakthrough course, and you can get access to the group and the community of support that's built in there with the other guys that have gone through it themselves. And it's a really cool thing to do. Or if you're looking for private coaching, right? If you're looking to be a one-on-one remote client, making sure that we really dial in the right type of workout program for you, and complete with your nutrition, your habits, lifestyle, all the above, making sure the spiritual is in check as well. Feel free to check out the link in the comments and the description below on how to apply to get started there as well. So guys, thank you all. And until next time, we'll see you later.